I was also informed that after the quality of this morning's speakers, I would have to begin this by setting my hair on fire. I've declined the opportunity, though one of my cohorts offered me a lighter. You know, why innovate? It's interesting. There was a great talk earlier about several people mentioning the disaster economically in 2008, 2009. Okay. This was a question McKinsey asked a bunch of global execs. What's the most important thing to grow? That's grow jobs, grow wealth. They said innovation, 54% of them in 2007. They went back and asked the same question in 2010, and something really stunning occurred. It turns out now 84% thought innovation is critical. That's not because the numerator got bigger. It's because the denominator got a lot smaller. If you didn't innovate, you died. You know, when I grew up, the people who, put a man on the moon, those were the rock stars. If you look between the US and the UK, that's all, just the US and the UK, we estimated you could feed more than 1 billion people with the food we throw away because we grew it in the wrong place, we couldn't transport it, we made a bad economic bet as to what would sell.
Say hi to anybody, get the energy back in, guys. That's the way to do it. Yeah. The second thing we have to do, we have to get our blood circulating again. And this is your exercise. And what you have to do is just like that, and you do this, and you bounce. And when you bounce, all the energy comes back. And then you do that. Get your shoulders, and then you do it around your brain. Because the brain starts working, and then you do this. The stomach starts going. Put the volume up. And keep going. 1 minute.
You're dangerous. Wow, look at that. I don't know.
Okay, thank you very much.
I guess in my mind, disruption is looking at two things. One is changing every day, changing the norm, and looking how to improve that. Bernie just talked a lot about continuous innovation. The Japanese call this Kaizen. This is the pursuit of perfection. You never get to perfection, so you continuously improve just a little bit every day. We call this iterative innovation. And over time, small changes end up making big differences. When it goes beyond human into a world that we haven't even thought about, then you're dealing with things that are beyond our own capacity at this point in time. And I think that there's going to be a stage where, that bit's a bit scary, but there's going to be whole stages in between in which intelligence will become a commodity. So in the next 20 years, you won't need to remember your times tables. You won't need to remember languages. You will be able to access that from the cloud in a microsecond.
Leading from the emerging present. And it's the idea that you never can actually predict the future, but you can see the signals of change in the present around you. So we're blessed with wonderful leadership here, and His Highness and our boss, His Excellency Muhammad Gargawi, sets the framework. He says, look, we want to empower people. We want to help make people happy. We want to help make people successful.
Jambu is from Uber. I've always found it very fascinating as a company. You don't do anything, right? You just you don't do anything, you don't own anything, you just have a $60 billion valuation doing zip. Can you just tell us the secret of that, please? Because we like to replicate it.
It's a lot of professional agitators. No, listen, I think it's a paradigm, right? And I think the idea of the paradigm is about efficiency. And historically, capital investment has been incredibly inefficient. And in any business in the world, I think you've got to ask the question, what are the pieces of that where ownership is actually detrimental and ownership can actually be shifted to individuals in a way that empowers them? And the important thing to realize about Uber is it's a two-sided marketplace. Many of us may be Uber riders, but there are Uber driver partners that benefit from the marketplace and their ability to put their own capital, start their own businesses, create their own jobs, and build wealth. And particularly when you put that against the paradigm that many people today have talked about, challenges with employment and challenges with entrepreneurship, that is incredibly powerful. 40% of the driver partners that walk into our office in Egypt today are unemployed.
You know, there are going to be a lot less jobs in the future. A lot less jobs. You look at the historical evidence in the last 15, 20 years, they call it jobless growth. That's because technology enables increasing productivity without the need for new jobs. So I think that one of the things which we have to really honestly grapple with in terms of a crisis of acceptance, not of awareness, is that we are facing a jobless future. So what does it mean to be a human being, a valued member of society in a jobless future? That's a fundamental rethinking of our economic and social contract.
The thing that makes us particularly human, there's three key areas. One is imagination, the second is collaboration, and the third is exploration.
The other piece that I think is super critical, and we've learned this, is access to the marketplace is incredibly equal.
Yeah.
Right? You can start a business and an app in the Philippines, and your biggest customers can be in Sweden. And that does not matter at all. It comes down to a very, very simple question, which is how prepared are you to disrupt yourself?
But at this point, almost everything we throw out there is open. You want to go play with Watson? Fine. You get on Bluemix, you get an idea, and you go play with it, just like that. And that's a key element to the success in this era.
Can we do some live coaching here? And you have 4 of the world's greatest coaches sitting here. Does anybody have the courage to stand up and say they'd like to disrupt themselves tomorrow and let these people guide you?
Create a shadow you, a shadow leader whose job is to disrupt yourself and then get young people to do it with them.
I think it's, I think it's identify your largest threat, what you think the largest threat to your business is, and then ask yourself, why not do that yourself?
If you have to drag yourself out of bed in the morning to go do your job, change it. Just do something different. I mean, you will never, ever reinvent yourself if that's the mode of operation. Good luck to you.
Don't think about what somebody else will do. Think about instituting change yourself and start thinking about doing it today. Because I tend to find that thinking about what other people are thinking is just a waste of time. Just get on and make the change yourself.